Hello friends and welcome to Fire Emblem Discussion. Today we're going to have a conversation about my unpopular opinions for Fire Emblem Three Houses and of course yours in the comments. But before we do that, I need to say that I do love Three Houses. It is such a great game. I'm on my third playthrough. I'm not bored of it yet. I'm just having the time of my life. It is such a great game. So this isn't me saying I hate the game. This is me just saying some things I like and dislike that other people tend to lean the other way. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about my comments here today, and also I'm also interested to hear what you think your unpopular opinions are. So let's get started. I think reusing maps isn't as much of a bother as some are saying. I've seen some complaints that the maps in Three Houses are, they complain that they're used between the same maps are used between all three routes, or spoiler alert, 4 routes. The auxiliary battles are tedious and a pain because they're the same maps and they're not inventive enough or creative enough. But I think what Three Houses does really well is, sure, it reuses those maps, but it doesn't bother me because the enemy composition is always different and the objective is often different as well. And I think it allowed the developers to have it's like they had something to play, like they had a map or whatever that was already designed and well used, and then they were smart about placing enemy units in a way that made the map feel like a different map, if that makes sense. And I really enjoyed that, and giving interesting objectives in those maps as well. So, for instance, the Do chapter, Paralog chapter in the beginning, where you're saving, you're trying to keep the Duskar soldiers as safe as possible by not having them be killed by Kingdom soldiers. Instead, you kill them, but you don't actually kill them. You just beat them up, and then they run away. Essentially, it's like Fire Emblem Fate's like Corrin up in here. It's like, I don't kill people. I swear, I just beat them to a bloody pulp, and then they're not dead. But they reused that map over and over again for different things as well. But it always felt kind of fresh because they had different objectives on it, and I think that is more important than having completely original maps for every single playthrough and every single battle, is that they do have these really interesting scenarios that they put you in. So next, I think the shorter Black Eagle path is better paced than other paths in the game. So I just recently finished the shorter of the two Black Eagles routes. So around the middle of the Black Eagles path, you have the opportunity to side with one side or the other in the story. And the shorter one, which I won't spoil anything beyond that, the shorter one feels, the story feels kind of, at first I was like, oh, this feels kind of like an afterthought. But the more I played it, I was like, no, this is just kind of a snappy story. It's getting things done. And I really appreciated that about it. Whereas the Blue Lions route, I felt at times I was kind of done with it. It felt like it overstayed its welcome at moments, which is, I'm sure, again, that's why it's an opinion. I'm sure a ton of people feel differently. But that's just kind of the thought I had about that. So I like the Black Eagle path that's shorter. I think it's great. And I guess another unpopular opinion that kind of goes against what I've said so far, I think this game is kind of tedious. I think the exploring section especially is very, very tedious, and it's kind of a pain to do. Instructing can feel very tedious at times, and I find myself towards the end of the game just doing auto-instruct because I don't feel like doing it. And I don't know, when there's a part of your game that you had to implement something to say, hey, if you don't feel like doing this, just don't. We'll do it for you. I don't know. To me, that's kind of a problem. And yeah, that's just kind of, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world towards the end of the game. It just felt really tedious to have to explore and instruct and then do three, then you can do 3 auxiliary battles or something. It just became kind of a lot, and it really muddied the experience towards the end of the game. I think that's part of the reason why I like the Black Eagle path that's shorter, because there was less of that tedium. Okay, next, I think the voice acting is actually pretty charming. I've seen some pretty negative feedback on some of the voices, like Mercedes. I'm trying to think of other ones people complained about. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head. But I think most, honestly, this probably one isn't as unpopular as others. But I've heard some people complain about the voice acting, and I think it's pretty charming. I'll just say that. I think the class system in this game is heavily flawed. I honestly feel like the developers or the playtesters played the game, and once they got to, I don't know, 5 or 6 chapters from the end, they realized, oh crap, I think we need another set of classes to go over the advanced classes. So they threw in the master class ranking. Or maybe they already had the master class ranking and they said, frick, we need to throw something in the middle here. Either way, I feel like they added classes that they didn't necessarily need in the game, or that weren't as thought out as well as they could have been. So playing through the game, and you get to the advanced classes, and a lot of those are really cool, really solid. There's a really good variety of things to pick, right? There's all sorts of different weapon types and types of units you can use in there. But then you get to master class, and you're limited to a bunch of different mounted units, and then Gremory or War Master, and those are even gender exclusive. So really, it's just Gremory if you're a female, or War Master if you're a male, and then Mortal Savant as well, I guess, which is interesting as well. But it's just kind of sad to see that they didn't do more with the master classes. And why don't the males have a magic-based master class that is similar to Gremory? I don't know. Why can't females be War Masters? I don't know. It's just kind of weird choices like that. I just feel like the master classes weren't well thought out. And it's too bad, because it would have been nice to have a tier of classes called master classes that were well done. So I just think the class system is flawed in Three Houses. It could be better. And finally, my last one here. I do not want the future of Fire Emblem to follow Three Houses too closely. I'm nervous that Three Houses is going to be super successful, and we're going to get another Three Houses next, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just look at the track record of other games in the series, where we look at Awakening was really successful, so they tried to do Awakening again, kind of, you know, and just put a slight twist on it, you know, extra paths or whatever. And then Three Houses feels like a bit of an addition, like adding on to a lot of the things that Fates did, and then again what Echoes did. And I'm nervous that that's what it's going to be, and that Three Houses is going to be the standard now, and we're going to have all these. It's going to be really free-flowing classes. It's going to be the weapon. Everyone can use whatever weapon they want. It just feels like I don't know. It's not Fire Emblem to me. Three Houses is probably the least Fire Emblem game to me of the entire franchise. Just so many elements were taken out and changed. And that's not a bad thing. Three Houses is a great game. It's just a lot less Fire Emblem than, you know, Shadow Dragon is, or even, I would even say it's so much less Fire Emblem than even like Fates is, or Awakening. And it's a little sad to see that we're moving farther and farther away from the traditional Fire Emblem formula. But at the same time, it is helping a lot of new fans into the series, I guess. But I love Three Houses, and if we just keep getting Fire Emblem Three Houses type games, that's great. I'm fine with it, I guess. Like, I'll play them, of course, because it's Fire Emblem, and I love this style of gameplay. But I do hope that they don't abandon the traditional Fire Emblem games, the classic style that we saw in, you know, like the Tellius games, FE9 and FE10, and the GBA games, SNES games, and that we get more of that. And I really hope, I hope the next game is an Echoes, and I hope it's for FE4. I hope it's an FE4 remake. And I really hope that they don't change that game too much to be like Three Houses, and they allow it to be the game that it used to be. I hope they stay pretty faithful. But anyways, those are my thoughts and opinions that are, I think, might be unpopular. Let me know in the comments if you think they're unpopular. Tell me why you disagree with me, please. But also, tell me your unpopular opinions. And don't forget that I love this game, and pretty much everyone on this channel, I'm sure, loves this game as well. So this isn't like a hate fest. This is just saying things that you either like or dislike that's unpopular. And I would be interested to hear what you have to say. So thanks for watching, friends. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys next time.